This little smoke machine works good. Look at all the smoke it's putting out. I'd say for 70 bucks. It was like 70 bucks. If you get the fluid, it's gonna be less than 100 bucks. It works great. My name is Zach Ellis and welcome to my journey. I don't know where I'm going or how I'm gonna get there, but I'm gonna be tearing shit up every step of the way. Along with a few friends, of course. Honestly, I don't know what I'm doing. I'll be building, modifying, repairing, fabricating, and racing every chance I get. But if you enjoyed this content, don't forget to smash the subscribe button and of course, enjoy the video. What's up guys? Back out here with the E30 today. We're hopping right back into the weird idle condition that the car had. If you look at my last videos, you see that the car was in a weird idle where the RPMs would drop and it would start to sound like a cam. So I removed the idle control valve, I brake cleaned it out, let it dry, throw it back on. That cleared up that issue, but then arose a new issue. That issue was the idle was high. It would idle cold, it would idle at, 900, 800, whatever it's supposed to be, I guess. Once it got up to temperature though, then the idle would start hanging at 1300, 1200, something like that. I don't really know what the causes of that. I did a little research. I can't really pinpoint anything. Everybody keeps saying idle control valve, idle control valve. I've cleaned it. It's still doing it. I don't want to buy the part yet. I want to troubleshoot a little bit more to see if I can figure it out. After driving the car for like, I don't know, a week or something, the car started, it would randomly have a hard time starting. So I did a little research on that. The only thing I could come up with is maybe the crank position sensor was going bad. So I did go ahead and replace that off camera. The car runs okay with that, still has a high idle. But the reason we're here today is I figured I'm gonna go ahead and see if the car has any vacuum leaks. There's lots of vacuum hoses. This car, if you saw on the first or the second video, I guess, on this car where we kind of went through the whole car and looked at all the issues with it, I found in the trunk a bag from HSPI, SPHI, HSPS, HPSI, I don't know. Some company that makes vacuum kits for these cars, so it replaces every vacuum hose. There's 3 or so left in the bag that were not replaced. I don't know if it was because they're hard to get to, if they're hard to find. So I'm going to do a vacuum test today to see if maybe some of the remaining hoses are the reason that it has a vacuum leak. If it has a vacuum leak. I don't actually know if it does or not, but I went ahead and I purchased a smoke tester, basically a machine to pump smoke into the vacuum system or into the engine, I guess you could say, and locate every single leak that's there. So I got on Amazon. I'm like, let me find a cheap little smoke machine, something that isn't going to break the bank because I'm going to use it once every 2 years probably. So I did a little research and I found this Auto Tool smoke detector, smoke leak detector. Basically this little tiny thing, you put oil in the top, which I'm going to use mineral oil. You're supposed to use the authentic oil like the smoke oil, but I wasn't going to spend 30 bucks on that shit, so I'm going to use mineral oil. They say it could damage us long term, but I think I spent 70 bucks on it, so in my opinion it's relatively disposable. It takes a 12-volt power source, which they give you leads to connect to the to a battery. Then it takes an air chuck inlet, so I have an air compressor. I'll plug air in, and then it has the actual smoke output. With the smoke output, it comes with a hose, and it comes with the funnel where you can plug into your intake, which is what I'm going to do. So we're going to go ahead. I'm going to set this thing all up real quick. We'll throw it up into the car, and we'll see if we can detect some leaks, I guess.
Loading, track with the lyrics like I'm bowling. Keep pushing on, keep rolling. Didn't wanna listen, but I told him one more time. Your favorite MC's bronze or silver. These raps here are golden. Cards on the table, there's no folding. Spit bars at the club, zoning. TikTok come to London, get ripped off. Man get pissed off when I start lift off. Sweet like flavors, cookie and biscuit. Round here, yeah, the bars I get ripped off. Picked up my song, yo, every time I tripped up. Little petty toilet, the big rock. Yeah, my G's do everything mix up. Full circle, that everybody linked up. That's irrelevant, memory like an elephant. Keep it hard, but you know that it's elegant. Get mad, but always benevolent. Always moving up, just leveling. Constantly telling them rhyming, riddling. Cycle through these streets, I'm pedaling. Hibernating them bombs, she's back again. Oh, cause a little fire on the track again. Turn the music up, vibe like an icon. Yeah, if you want buff, we can go psycho. Head to head, bar to bar, turn the mic on. the music up, vibe like an icon. Icon, icon.
So I found a pretty big vacuum leak. Looks like it's the valve cover. If you look down in here, you can see all that smoke. Oh, my hose just popped out. Ugh. All the smoke coming out from back there. So valve cover, I guess, is bad, which sucks, but I got a new one, so we're good there. And then also, I don't know if you can see the smoke coming out from right here. Smoke is coming out around the throttle body, so that's something. I don't know if it's like the small spring here. It's coming out from around that small spring. A little bit coming out of the end of the idle control valve. That's the big one though, back there. Cool. So from what I can tell, it's only the throttle body area has a small leak, but the back of the valve cover is leaking very bad. So I guess I'm gonna go ahead, pull the valve cover off, swap out the gasket, and that should have us all set up. This little smoke machine works good. Look at all the smoke it's putting out. Looking at underneath the valve cover gasket, if you remember, the leak was coming out of the back side of the valve cover, which it looks to me like it is the little plastic sections at the front and back of each camshaft. Maybe it had a bad seal there, so I think to help combat that, I'm going to put a tiny bit of gasket maker on there, or RTV, or whatever you want to call it, to help seal that back and front sections off. The other thing that I noticed now looking under here, two of these valves are brand new looking, which means at some point this valve train was removed from the car for these two to be replaced. Why they were replaced, I have no clue. Cool, so let me get the camera set up here so you guys can see the, I guess the engine bay, and hopefully it idles perfectly. Usually it takes a little bit to start idling funky, so we'll get her started, we'll just let her run for a little while and see what happens. Alright, so as you guys saw, the car still has the funky idle condition. I am not 100% sure what it could be. I did determine spark plugs are effed up, which could be a timing related issue, but I don't know that that would really be it. I did go ahead and shoot the ohms on the idle control valve just to see if it was testing good in that aspect, and it is. So the spark plugs are clearly bad, so I have no reason not to change those out. The valve cover was clearly leaking, so I had no reason not to change that out. It's only going to help the engine in the long run. But hopefully you guys know some information about this. Hopefully you can give me something that's going to help me narrow down exactly what is going on with the car. Like I said, the car runs great. It just, the idle is funky. Kind of starting to run out of ideas. I'm wondering now if there's a fueling issue. I think to try to determine the fuel issue, if there is one, I'm going to swap the fuel filter. I haven't done it yet, and it's easy maintenance to this car. I don't know how old the current fuel filter is on it, but it's affordable. I might as well replace it. So I'm going to wrap this video up. If you guys have any tips for me to help me, get this thing running how it should, please let me know, because any information you can give me is only going to help me realistically. But other than that, guys, hopefully you liked the video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.